so now we're going to talk about Terminator Genisys, or aka Terminator Genisys, because this movie sucks. And rewatching it again, I was reminded of how much this film sucks. And I know lately I've been wearing this white t-shirt a lot in my reviews. That I'm just another white man with white rage wearing a white t-shirt. And you're about to get some rage. You're about to get that white rage here. You know, no Cancelton's going to stop me with this review or rant. But let's talk about this movie. And I don't know why I saw this back in 2015. But I saw this when it came out. And rewatching this again, it was just as bad as I remembered. And my thoughts remain when it comes to this movie. But basically the plot, I'll get that out of the way real quick because I'm going to go off here. So it's in the future. John Connor's played by Jason Clarke. And there's this war going on. Jai Courtney in the film plays Kyle Reese. And basically, in the future, he's sent back to 1984, to rescue Sarah. In this film, she's played by Emilia Clarke from the Terminator. But something happens where there's an unexpected turn of events, which creates an alternate timeline. So instead of Sarah in the past being a waitress, she's now a skilled fighter. And the Terminator has been her guardian, or in this case, Pops, for a long time, since her childhood. So, now we have a different timeline. The Terminator has been by her side for years. And now there's, new enemies. So, Jai Courtney's Kyle Reese is sent back to help out Sarah, team up with her and the Terminator, to take out now Genisys, which has become the new Skynet, pretty much, and reset the future, and that's kind of the plot here. But, of course, as we know, Alan Taylor directed the film. This is the same guy that directed Thor: Dark World. And I know he's worked a lot on Game of Thrones, which I've never seen one episode. And from what I understand, there was some, stuff behind the scenes with the film that since then Emilia Clarke has talked about, and maybe I'll get into that here a little bit. But like I said, that's pretty much the plot. Alan Taylor directed the film. And I was just looking at Alan Taylor's IMDb. Again, Thor: Dark World, he directed. He worked on Game of Thrones, as well as Emilia Clarke. And this movie didn't need to happen. This movie is the definition of pointless. Look that up in the dictionary. Like, the definition of pointless, in the dictionary, this movie should be there. This movie is a wannabe Back to the Future 2, where we're going to skew off, we're going to, take a redirection with the timeline and fuck things up. And, we get a new Kyle Reese and Jai Courtney. But the cast, let's talk about the cast. Arnold here, god awful. Terminator 3, there were some moments when I'll say this about T3. When there were some moments of action, whether that be on the highway or at the graveyard, the cemetery, where he's carrying the casket, there were some moments where I could deal with Arnold, but there was a lot of times where the humor was just bad. Here, though, the Terminator, quite a bit throughout the film, there's references to his character, this Terminator, being old and obsolete. And he mentions that, like, a couple of times in the film. There's even a couple of instances in the film where he's fixing his knee, or he's got arthritis. When he's that little scene with him and Kyle Reese, loading up the guns. There's a little reference in there to the Terminator having arthritis or something, and I forgot all about that. And again, early on, there's an action scene where he's fixing his knee. Arnold was too old. He was too old by T3. T3, around that time, he was what, 55 probably when they started filming? But Arnold took the money and run. He was too old then. And he's way old now. But he did 2 more after T3. By this time, Arnold is what, 67, 68? But on top of that, you had Dark Fate, which I'll get to that. The Terminator franchise should have stopped after the first 2 films. This was just this film right here, Genisys. It's just a retread reboot of the first movie and the second movie. Because we go back to 1984, where we see Arnold as the Terminator, naked. And, when they do show the Terminator, I will say some of the scenes where he's not, it doesn't look as bad when he's, looking around or, what have you. But when you get to the scene where the Terminator pops, faces off against the 1984 Terminator, the CGI looks very wonky. Like I said, some of the slower movements don't look as bad. The CGI for what they did, for what they pulled off. But, when you get into that little fight, it looks very wonky. It just looks bad. And like I said, Arnold's too old here. Old, but not obsolete. You're both, Arnold. You're old and you're obsolete. You were old and obsolete here and Dark Fate. But like I said, I'll talk about that when I get to Dark Fate. And, you killed the 1984 Terminator with 1 shot to the chest via Emilia Clarke, a.k.a. the toothpick version of Sarah Connor. I did not care for her Sarah Connor. She had no personality. She had the presence of a damn napkin. Jai Courtney was bland. As a matter of fact, you see this right here? You see this cracker? This cracker has more presence. This cracker right here has more personality than Jai Courtney. Jai Courtney, whenever you throw him into a film, whether it be this film or Die Hard 5, he is to me like franchise poison. You throw this guy into any film and it just makes it worse because of his bland acting, because of his monotone delivery. Again, this cracker has more presence, has more personality than Jai Courtney. Emilia Clarke has as much presence as this napkin. These versions, as Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, Linda Hamilton can wipe the floor with Emilia Clarke. Linda Hamilton can breathe on Emilia Clarke and she would fall over. Michael Biehn would beat the shit out of Jai Courtney. Hick style. Jai Courtney, I call him Bland Courtney. But anyways. But yeah, I did not care for their versions. Jason Clarke as John Connor, I thought he was just indifferent to me. I don't mind Jason Clarke, but I will say Christian Bale was a better John Connor in Salvation. I don't know what other people feel about the film, but Jason Clarke, I just felt for me, he was indifferent. Like as John Connor, indifferent for me. J.K. Simmons in the film, he's this cop from the past that shows up back in 2017 because, they're about to, they're trying to stop Genisys. And back in 1984 in the film, there's a scene that involves this cop. And then in the future, it's J.K. Simmons. And I liked J.K. Simmons in the film. He's like the one little thing that I did not mind. Because I thought his character was likable, helping out the characters, helping out, trying to get them, not let them get caught. But J.K. Simmons is good. And there's some other people in there like Matt Smith, Courtney B. Vance, kind of the new T-1000 in the film. This time he's played by Lee Byung-hun, which I don't know much about. But, the rest of this cast is just, again, Arnold's god-awful. Jai Courtney, Emilia Clarke are the personification of bland, vanilla, monotone, one-dimensional. Whatever term you want to throw in there. And Arnold is just, being referred to as Pops. Stop calling him Pops! It's stupid! Every time they called him and referred to him as Pops, I wanted to pop my damn neck. And I'm like, stop calling him Pops. It's stupid. In IMDb, they refer to his character as the Guardian or Guardian. And action-wise, what do you have in this film? You got the very wonky fight between Terminator, the old Terminator, and the 1984 Terminator, which really, when you think about it, is just that alone. The 1984 Terminator gets one shot to the heart. To me, that's just taking a piss on the first movie. You're taking a piss on the second movie because what you're doing is you're taking the two and you're blending them together and giving them a 2015 paint job. Saying that this is better. And James Cameron defended it, saying that this is the truth, Terminator 3 or whatever. James Cameron doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's always flip-flopping. Well, I like it. I don't like it. Didn't the same thing happen with Dark Fate? Because at first he defended Genisys, but he ended up flipping on that. Flipping his opinion. James Cameron he fucking flip-flops more than fucking pancakes at the IHOP. Stop it, James Cameron. But getting back to what I was saying, action-wise, what's really worth mentioning? The scene where they're trying to get away from the new T-1000 in 1984. You got the stuff with the bus on the bridge. I've seen that done better. And where the Terminator brings John Connor and Sarah Connor to this bunker that has all these weapons, and the T-1000 shows up, or John Connor, because now spoiler alert, he's a villain here, or he becomes a villain by this nanotech technology, whatever you want to put it. I didn't really care. But then you got stupid scenes like the scene where John Connor, Emilia Clarke, and the Terminator are caught, brought to the police station, and you get mugshots and Arnold smiling to the theme from Cops. The bad boys, what you gonna do? And the Terminator smiling in a mugshot. God! stand up for a second. This movie sucks! I know what you're going to say. I'm just conveying my white rage. You're damn right! Watch this movie and feel my wrath. I dare you. I double dog dare you. You got Arnold as a Terminator smiling in a damn mugshot to the Bad Boys theme. Or the Cops theme. I don't want to destroy nothing. But I'm feeling it. Yep. Fuck this movie. You know, I gotta settle down. I'm gonna sit down. I gotta finish this rant. I'm not gonna go too overboard. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm just having fun here, okay? You gotta let loose when a movie's this bad. Okay, you gotta let loose and have some fun and be over the top. If not, what's the point? If this movie can be, you know, as ridiculous, then I can too. Why not? But that happens. What else happens? I mean, the acting is terrible. It tries hard to be Back to the Future 2, where, you know, we're going to veer off from the timeline and create an alternate reality, alternate universe, and try to create our own trilogy. And how'd that work out? And all the difficulties behind the scenes with this film. I mean, to look at some of the trivia here. Let me see. I mean, I'm just trying to... I'm not going to go over everything here. Yeah, it even says right here, Cameron said this was a film that was a natural follow-up to T2. Arnold Schwarzenegger believed it exceeded T2 technologically, action-wise, and intensity. But when Cameron produced the next Terminator film, Dark Fate, he decided to ignore Genisys' storyline, opting for a continuation of his own T2 story. So again, Cameron doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, it says right here, Emilia Clarke in recent years admitted to Vanity Fair that production was not a smooth one. She noticed that making the film took a huge toll on Alan Taylor. Stories of unhappy and frustrating production spread so much in certain circles that the neighboring production of Fantastic Four, which had its own troubles, you know, that film had a troubled production. They had jackets made reading, "At least we're not on Terminator." Clarke also said that she was happy that the film became a financial disappointment, meaning that she would not have to reprise the role as Sarah Connor, and thank God for that. So, I mean, Arnold came back and it, you know, for Dark Fate. And Arnold considers this the real Terminator 3. Arnold is time to retire. Honestly, you should have made The Last Stand, ended it with that. Because you haven't made a good movie since. Let's be honest. I enjoyed The Last Stand. I thought it was a fun entertainment popcorn flick. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. But since then, what we've got? Sabotage, or I call succotage. Maggie, which was a bore fest. AKA a good sleeping pill. If you want to fall asleep, watch that movie. Then you got this film. And next I have to review Aftermath and Killing Gunther, which God, I can't wait to talk about that. Dark Fate, can't wait to talk about that again. So I know I'm probably going over the top here. Yeah, I haven't really went in depth on the movie, but why should I? This movie is a stain on the Terminator name. And it started with T3. And it's further into the abyss it goes. And this film tries hard to be a blend of T1 and T2 by rebooting it, backdoor reboot, continuation, whatever term you want to use. And I don't know what more I can say. I honestly don't. I mean, I'm just going to go on and on here. But at the end of the day, this film sucks. And rewatching it again, I'm reminded of what I felt back in 2015. I still feel the same way. You got stupid scenes. Acting is not good. Performances are bland, monotone. Arnold is awful. Probably, I would say more awful than T3. And I don't know what is worse. Which is worse, this film or Dark Fate? Well, Linda Hamilton's in Dark Fate, but she alone can't save the movie. But anyways. So yeah, maybe, perhaps I went over the top here a little bit. But with this movie, I think it's warranted. But that's all I got. But yeah, this movie sucks. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I don't believe in canceling, but can we cancel this movie? I mean, I'm just playing, but I mean, I say that in a very tongue-in-cheek way. But yeah, I'm done. I don't know what else to add to that. So up next, I guess we're going to talk about Aftermath, which I've never seen. But thank you for bearing with me on this rant. Kind of a crazy one here. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you guys later.